Salutations, everyone. It's me, Bug here. Without the family. Again. Why? Well, so a while back, I started customizing Funkos. There's only one other person in the community that I've talked to who has also customized a Funko. And that would be the lovely Sariea from DreamItDIY. So I reached out to her and I was like, I have an idea for a competition. Just a friendly little thing to see if great minds think alike. Something like that, you know? And that would be to get a random Funko and customize it like whatever character you see fit. So I had my mom, and she reached out to the lovely Erica from Erica Diacampo, and they teamed up to pick out a Funko for both of us to get. It's the exact same Funko. We have no idea what it is, to customize in a video to see what we came up with. So I don't do this every day. I mean, I do customize a lot of Funkos, and I have some other Funko ideas for the future that you should see on this channel. So if you want to see what I have in store, stick around, hit that subscribe button, that bell notification to get notified when we are posting a video or something like that, right? And also, if you like this, give it a thumbs up. It would be greatly appreciated. I do want to thank Sariea so very much for agreeing to do this challenge with me. I know that at the start of this, it's gonna be so much fun, and I hope she'll say the same. Let's get right into this. Okay. Well, it's from a television show, I can say that. So off the start, I don't know who it is. Okay. Betty Dapper from Mad Men. My mother is standing right back here, and she's like, if you guys don't think of this character that I thought of, I'm gonna be seriously mad. And who the heck could I do this as? So I'm like trying to run through all the characters that I could think of. And one of our stipulations was, like, it shouldn't already be a Funko. Or if it is already a Funko, like, a very old Funko. So now I know who I'm working with, which, honestly, I could see this going a few different ways. I will say I love the hair on her already. I hate her hand positioning with the cigarette, but we shall see. The dress will be an easy change. It's pretty bland, so adds for a decent amount of customizations. I am going to start looking at some Disney characters to see if I can find one who I think would match this Funko. So I started off looking up Disney women on Google because I had no idea who I was going to transform this into. But after a while of scrolling, I found the first one I could have seen this Funko as, and that would be the lovely Edna Mode from The Incredibles. The dress fit perfectly and the pose was great. However, after looking up Edna Mode, I found out very quickly that the hair didn't fit and they had a Funko of her already, so I continued my search. The next character I came across was Mother Gothel.
And Mother Gothel could work, the pose was alright, but the hair just didn't match. So I continued scrolling for about 15 more minutes. After those 15 minutes, I came with 2 characters I could see this Funko as. Charlotte, aka Lottie, from Princess and the Frog, or Billy Robinson from Meet the Robinsons, and I chose Lottie because the hair was perfect. After that, I saw some smudges on the face, and I decided to clean those off with a little bit of nail polish. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And I think it turned out fairly well. I found a few of the colors that I wanted to use, but really did not like that cigarette. So I took an X-Acto knife and very carefully started to cut it off and make the hand look the way I wanted it. After that, I found the only skin tone which was a little too light. However, I had other plans for the hand, so I painted it all the solid color of the paint that I had and carefully made it look like the best hand that I could. After that, I found the paints that I wanted. A brown for the eyebrows, a purple, just in case, a teal blue, a dark pink, and a dark red. And I started out adding the teal blue to the earrings, eventually adding a little bit of metallic to all these paints to give a shine to the Funko Pop. But I carefully painted the earrings, getting closer to my eyes to make sure that the face didn't get any blue on it. I apologize for the camera view. Thanks, Mom, for the amazing editing. After that, I took a little bit of the dark red and the pink, and I mixed them together to get the color of the dress that I liked. And I slowly but surely added my first base coat, which is a coat just to have the other paint stick to it, onto the whole entire dress, going from top to bottom and making sure I hit every spot I could. Thankfully, this Funko was fairly easy from the ones that I've customized in the past, giving me a decent amount of shoulder room and arm room to work with to paint around to make it look like the dress was originally that color. You would be surprised how hard it is on some of the other Funkos with broader shoulders to make it have a full matte color. Like I said, this is the first layer, so I knew it would be patchy, and from Funko's past, I had to do up to 4 layers to get it completely opaque to make it look like that was the original color of the Funko, and that is what I planned to do. And now I added the metallic shine that I was talking about, which is a white metallic paint that I just mixed with other colors like the teal blue for the earrings. And I carefully took the metallic and added that as the 3rd layer to the earrings. Sorry again that the camera point of view was awful. Next, I wanted to change the color of the eyebrows since her eyebrows are darker in the movie. So I took the brown that I showed and I slowly, and I mean slowly, added it on top of where her eyebrows already were. And to be completely honest and to toot my own horn, I think I did an amazing job on them. That goes to show that slow and steady truly wins the race. As I am doing these eyebrows, I will take time to say thank you to my mother, who messed around with the footage because I was really bad with recording this process. I get really close to my Funkos typically when I'm painting them to make sure I can get the exact details that I want, so it was hard stepping back from them. Now, after I took a few minutes to let the paint settle or dry a bit, I added another layer to the dress, this time adding a little bit of the metallic paint to give it that sheen that I really liked. I feel like Charlotte would be the type of girl to really want eyes on her, and I was going back and forth about making her a glitter Funko, but I chose not to and just add the metallic little sheen. Personal preference, and I think it turned out really, really good. And since it was turning out really good, I made sure I got in between the arms, the shoulders, everywhere I could, since I wanted it to shine at any angle if light was held up to it. As right here, you see me going over the shoulders and the arms, which was the hardest part. There were several times where I would take a toothpick and scrape off a little bit of paint that I got on the hands or feet. However, it wasn't too bad. Like, I didn't have to pull out the nail polish remover or anything of that sort, and that made me happy. There have been times where I've accidentally pulled the paint that I didn't want to pull off, and that causes a completely different hassle that I was very relieved not to have to deal with while making this Funko. Speaking of that nail polish remover, after I got done adding the layer, I noticed that I accidentally smudged off some of her beauty mark that she has when she's in the dress, or at least that's what I thought. So I shook a little bit of the black, took off the cap, took a toothpick, and just pin dotted that little beauty mark on, and that was that. After that, I mixed a little bit of brown and peach into the yellow to get a hair color that I absolutely loved. However, I really didn't think ahead, and I didn't make enough to cover the Funko's hair at all. Like, by the end of painting it all over, I was scraping the bottom of that barrel. Like, I would hold the brush in and twirl it around, trying to pick up every molecule I could, which it was the first layer of the hair, so I knew that it would be alright since I could make another layer and get it as close as I could to the original and just make a lot more. And I truly learned my lesson on this part. Not just the fact that I didn't have enough paint, but since I was working with such little paint, it was so hard to get in between the hairlines, the curls, the waves, everything, causing me to have to drag my brush along multiple times to try and spread it out, make sure that it looked clean and neat, and trying my hardest not to get it on the face at all. Which I got a little bit on the top of the head. But if there was just a little on the top of the head that I could wash off that wasn't too close to the eyebrows, I consider that a win. As well as that, when I was doing the hair, I laughed to myself a little bit because it started to look like Emma Ross from Hey Jessie. If you've ever seen that show, I think you would agree. And if you have not, I recommend looking up Emma Ross just to see the resemblance, because it was kind of uncanny at first. But slowly, after adding some more colors you'll see later on, it turned into the Charlotte we know and love, at least in my eyes. But if my eyes aren't deceiving me, we are now at the point of the hardest part of the hair, which is the back of the hair closest to the body. That takes the most precision to not get any of the hair color on the dress, which I managed to do. And since we finished the first coat of hair, I wanted to work on the details of the dress. So I took the dark red that I really liked and decided that I was going to add some of that metallic white, but I added a little too much and that caused problems. So I started trying to scrape out the red and that didn't work. Tried to add a little bit of purple, that didn't work. And then I found a red, but squeezed a little too hard. However, the color came out perfect, and I mean perfect. So I started going around the waist and the belt line to make sure I had an even line to work with. Going around the hand, making sure I didn't get too much red on that I couldn't scrape off or anything of that sort. And then I slowly did an angle downward to make this style, or what I think that style would have been on that dress, just with paint. This took a little bit of time. I ended up taking out a toothpick and making sure that I had even lines and got under the hand, because that hand wasn't attached completely, leaving enough space to see under it, which was a little bit of a frustrating pain in the butt for me, but we managed to pull through. And I took the toothpick and dotted on the details of the collar as you saw there and painted one of the shoes. Since my mom's storage was getting a little low, I decided to only paint one of the shoes so I could also paint the headband, which you will see now. The headband, I used the exact same color, Charlotte's dress and colors in the scene in the diner, which was what I wanted to base it on. Wasn't too complex, there was only the two colors. And then I decided to try a little bit of a challenge and make her hat with the Nara air hardening clay. This is the first time I've ever used this clay, but I messed up multiple, and I mean multiple times, to the point where I kind of gave up and just made the bow from the hat, and I put it on that headband after having to paint her hair and headband because the aluminum scratched it.
Since this was a multi-day process, from letting the paint dry to the clay sculptures, to gluing on the clay to the thing and making sure it looked good, we finally have the final result. So here we have Charlotte, or Lottie, depending on where you want to go, in her dress that she went into the diner with. And since I couldn't make the hat like I wanted to, gave her the little bow, and instead of a cigarette in her hand, she has the beignet. Overall, I'm very proud of this, and I can't wait to see what Sariea does for hers. Thank you again very much for accepting this challenge. I hope we can do this again sometime, because coming up with a character and creating it into a different Disney Funko was a lot of fun, in my opinion. I hope you had fun as well. There were several I could have done with this one. As you guys know, if there wasn't an Edna Funko, it genuinely could have been Edna, besides the curly hair. However, that would have been... there was the first one I thought of. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this, give it a thumbs up. Let me know who you would have created instead of Charlotte. Or if you would have created Charlotte. Or whoever you thought it could have been. if you're not that much of a DIY person. And please go check out Sariea's video. It would be greatly appreciated. I know she'll do an amazing job, and it will be linked in the description below. And if you like us and want to stick around, click that subscribe button. That is also pretty awesome. I hope you have a great day and a great big beautiful tomorrow. Bye-bye! I almost went to do my outro. Yeah, lovely.